Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khairurrazikin and my student number is 1810 and 88. I'm fourth semester from C class. Today I will explain about report speech. Report speech is when when students are learning English, will they learn about skill and language component. Grammar is one of English language component that it must be learned and understood by student because it's a very basic knowledge and important for student. And then in here we have report speech. When do we use report speech? Sometimes someone says a sentence, for example, I'm going to the cinema tonight. And then later, maybe we want to tell someone else what the first person said. Meaning of direct and indirect speech. Direct and indirect speech are two particular methods of reproducing in writing someone's words. In two reported speech, direct and indirect has two parts, namely report speech, which mean in bahasa, it's like kata kerja yang melaporkan, and reported words, it's kata kerja yang dilaporkan. And then in here we have some tables, is the changing in reported speech, direct and indirect speech. Like we have two tables, that is direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech, we have present simple, like she said it's cold. And indirect speech, like past simple, she said it was cold. And then for the next table, we have modal verbs forms also sometimes change, like we have two tables, direct and indirect. Indirect speech, like we have word will. She said, I'll teach English online tomorrow. But in indirect speech, would. She said she would teach English online tomorrow. And then for the next table is we have time change, like in this and this in evening, and also that in evening. Like we have time changing for direct and indirect. Changing pronouns. We changing from direct speech to direct speech to indirect speech. It is often necessary to change the pronouns to match the subject. Example is, I want to bring my children. Becomes, she said she want to bring her children. And we are going to the next materials. Wait. All right. The next part is the kind of different speech, which means it's direct and indirect speech. One, we have report statement, like report statement have direct in report statement have direct speech and report speech. Direct speech says like Mary says, I like ice cream. And the second is reported speech. Mary says that she likes ice cream. And then we don't need to change tenses, so probably we don't need to change the person from I to she. For example, we also may need to change word, words like may, my, and your. Like the example is direct speech. Mary said, I like ice cream. And reported speech said that she likes ice cream. And number two is reported questions. In fact, it is not so different from reported statement. The tenses change are the same, and we keep the questions word. The very important thing to note is that once we tell the questions to someone else, it isn't a question anymore. Example, in direct speech, where do you live? And in reported questions, she asked me where I live. And in direct speech, where is Julia? And then in reported questions, she asked me, where is Julia? Number three is reported request. What if someone asks you to do something in a polite way, like in direct speech, close the window please, or could you close the window please? And the third is, would you mind closing the window please? All of these requests mean the same thing, so we don't need to report every word when we tell another person about it. We simply use as, me, plus to, plus infinitive. And then in this table, we have the example. And then the last part is reported orders. We can call this an order in English when someone tells you very directly to do something, like for example, sit down. And in this table, we have direct order and reported order. Like direct orders say, go to bed. And then automatically on reported order, he told me, we say like, he told the child to go to bed. It's directly and it's reported order. And then the second example is, don't worry. And we said like, he told her not to worry. And the last is, be on time. And in reported order, he told me to be on time. And that's all the presentation from me about report speech. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.